Were you surprised by Jimmy's lackluster performance?
I was surprised because Jimmy, we all know he's a gamer. We all know he shows up, when it matters most. I would have thought he went out there and gone crazy. Like, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd have been like, he's definitely going to have a great game. When you look at the stuff he did in Minnesota when he left there and all that. So I expected him to be dominant. But obviously he was the opposite. I don't know if, he spent more time in Miami. He obviously was with his kids. Did that get his mind a little off of, things? That was classy of the Heat with all that they went through with him. That was classy of them to show the video. He's denied it, but did that soften him up? I don't know, but he was not himself. I also think, Nick, and I still think he's been great for the Warriors.
Yeah.
He may be showing you like he can't be that number one anymore.
Well, so that's
right?
what
Which is fine because he's a number two clearly when Steph's there. But yeah, he probably can't be the number one.
So
not consistently.
The highest degree of concern would be, is this the first piece of evidence that playoff Jimmy might not be what we once thought it was? Because last time we saw it was 2 years ago. And that was a year he was 24 a game instead of 17 a game. Right. So regular season Jimmy was a different player than, and so there is that piece of it. But the other, to me, and this is going to sound mean, and I don't mean it to, but I'm just being honest with the audience. My emotion was not surprise. It was happiness. Jimmy Butler did not deserve to have a great game and stick it to Miami. I won, you lost. Jimmy Butler screwed the Heat. Jimmy Butler is allowed to be this way. It's fine. And you guys know, people that watch this show, I have, really prayed at the altar of playoff Jimmy and believing in the Heat, and even when they're the 8 seed. Right. I talked about how if they had pulled off the championship, was it against the Nuggets? It would have had to have been against the Nuggets. Like, put his resume next to Harden if he won the title. Like, and it's all of that is true. This is also true. He was awful in his exit there. It was everything people justifiably hate about pro sports at times, and he did not deserve to get the last laugh. Huh. And everyone, I think, thinks and that he is, he's going to get the last laugh anyway because he's on a contender. Maybe he is. Or maybe the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors this year will win the exact same amount of rounds in the playoffs. 0. And maybe it will end up being that a place that he had was finally, as an NBA nomad, a fan base that loved him and, protected him is the wrong word, but you know what I mean, advocated for him, whatever, has turned on him justifiably. And the Warriors, he's not a Warrior. I mean, he is, but it's not like that's, when Warrior fans are like, who are our guys, right? Yep. And so I found myself last night really rooting for the Heat. Huh. And I know that sounds spiteful and mean. I just feel, I really, really didn't like how he napalmed an entire season for a franchise when they, in my opinion, had done nothing wrong. If a team's done you wrong and you're like, man, screw you, that's not what happened here. And so
it might be too early. There's people already talking about who won the divorce. Yeah. I think Jimmy clearly won the divorce, though. Now, things could change.
He's winning, certainly.
Yeah, he's
certainly winning the divorce.
Even though last night didn't go as
well. But it's, as is often the case, or sometimes the case in real divorce, sometimes the answer is no one. No one won the divorce. We're actually both worse off because of it. And you want to hold my hand, buddy?
You all right?
I'm all right. No problem.
Gee whiz, we're talking about the Heat.
Since Jimmy arrived, this guy always mocking me because I'm the only guy at the table that's a child of divorce.
I know, but man,
sorry,
we start going into it. Listen, man, we're talking about jump shots.
Infiltration, trust, and people.
Okay, oh my God. Since Jimmy arrived, the Warriors had the best defense in the league, but were powerless to stop a Miami team that went 17 for 25 from 3 in a 26-point victory.
The microphone was too large.
Current playoff teams, okay, so these are the current playoff teams you're looking at, with the most losses versus non-playoff teams. The Warriors are the best at being the worst. Then it's Pacers, Lakers, Nuggets, and Bucks. So should they be concerned?
Yeah, of course. And by the way, I didn't for a number of reasons, and I tried to get this in yesterday, but then they ran the sweeper on me. By the Draymond Green Defensive Player of the Year argument, to me it is clearly Evan Mobley. And the excuse making of, oh yeah, we're everybody's Game 7. It's like the Chiefs in the NFL. You know what I mean? Everyone gets up for us. You're not the defending champs. Right. You're not the prior defending champs. You're not the team that could flirt with 70 wins like Oklahoma City. And last night, it's not even like, well, when they're playing Steph wasn't even there, man. And he had, so like it's not. I just don't. That is a little bit of. Once upon a time, that was true. I don't know that it still is.
I feel that way about the Patriots.
But,
like, well, they
people get up
to the Patriots.
Right,
and the Warriors are not the Patriots, and that right. I'm not saying they've fallen apart. But here's why they should be worried. If we show you the standings again, it's all very tight, but there's not a lot of time left, and the Warriors are sitting there at 6. Catching 5 is going, especially because they don't have the tiebreaker. Is not going to happen. Falling to 7 absolutely could.
Yeah.
And falling to 7 means falling to 8 could. And we have seen the Warriors clipped in the play-in. We have seen them as
last year?
And we've seen them
before that too.
And we've seen them be one of the only teams to have one of those 7-8 lines lose both. Because remember, LeBron hit the 3, and then they lost. Was it to the Grizzlies? I don't even remember. But they ended up losing both. So. Yeah, they should be at least a little concerned, bro.
I don't think they should be concerned because what they should be focused on is similar to the Lakers. Get ourselves healthy and playing the best basketball.
Sure.
Don't worry, because I get it. You don't want to fall into the play-in. Like we said, they've been burned and not gotten out of the play-in before. But if let's say they fall to 7 or even 8 but get the 7th seed, maybe you get Houston. I'll take that. Like, as long as they could get Houston or Memphis, I like that in the first round.
What about Denver?
Well, I don't want Denver, but, you know.
But you could get Denver if you say the 6. You
just got to focus on us playing our best basketball. And even if, now, I would not pick them to beat OKC. But they're 2-1 against OKC this year. And all 3 of those games came before they got Jimmy Butler. They're clearly a better team with Butler. And Shea played in all 3 of those games. So I'm just saying, the thing I'm concerned about with OKC is their youth and inexperience. Obviously, Golden State has a wealth of, veteran experience and championship medal. So I'm just saying, for them, I really don't want to – you don't want to see OKC, the Lakers, or Denver in the first round. But you can't figure out who you're going to meet. So they just got to be playing their best. Even if they fall into the play-in, as long as you get out of the play-in – you got a chance.
Okay. I just put a little capper on it. If they fall into the play-in, I would pick them to, no matter what the matchup is, survive it. I do think for a team that veteran and that old, I do think the 5 days off you get by not being in the play-in is useful.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be very helpful for them just for the rest component, more so than even the risk of losing the game. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.